My name is Anke Haas. I am the art teacher for Arts for the Schools in Tahoe and North Tahoe Truckee community. This is strange times, but here we are, and hopefully you will enjoy this time together. I want to introduce really quickly. Miss Eve is our executive director for Arts for the Schools, and she is working super duper hard on putting this together. All the technical ins and outs to get us online, and I trust she is an amazing IT person and she figures this out. In the meantime, we are getting started with our syllabus. For those of you who are absolutely new to Arts for the Schools, welcome. I just want to tell you a couple of things that we have been working on this last year. And for the students, hold your horses. We will get to the art in a minute. So just one thing, we have studied the standards for the arts for California. And we have also adjusted a couple of things in our curriculum because we wanted to have all classes be integrated with what the teachers in the classroom actually are teaching so that it is relevant. And so today, my students already know this direction. Today I'm going to connect art with something else, and that something else is English language arts. So I want to introduce to you this little book, and the book is about a little girl with her dog. The girl's name is Juana, and she has a dog, Lucas. And they live at a different place from here, and I just want to tell you why this is important to us today. We want to draw an imaginary immigrant. So what that means, we will have to know how to draw a face. I will show you here how to draw this face. And I do a little step by step. But most importantly, I want to see what you do to make this look like an immigrant. So some person that comes from another culture, what does it even mean that you come from another culture? For example, in my case, you can tell really easily, I am from Germany and I have this heavy German accent. But I have a student in my school and I remember his name is, I think, Brandon, and he is from Colombia. That was the furthest I remember. Then there was another student, I think his dad is from Australia, and he just recently flew over for Christmas and had a good time in Australia. So, but there's different culture, there's different beliefs, there's different times that we study to imagine our immigrant. So what I want you to do for next class, we have this class 2 times. I would like you to research a little bit to say which kind of immigrant, where is my immigrant coming from? So say your immigrant is like Juana, coming from Colombia. She is asking her school teacher, so she's asking her school teacher, who is Tia, Chris, why would we have to learn English? So she tells me is now of course Juana, the best reason to learn English is to be able to sing a lot of great songs. I already know plenty of songs to cantar in Spanish. The day becomes dark and gloomy then, and it starts pouring, as if the sky has suddenly become the sea, and it's falling over Bocata all at once. So if it's a rainy day or a snowy day, it's a good thing to know how to sing in English, I guess. So then the other thing that is interesting about her is she travels to the United States and comes to, comes to the border, and it says welcome in the United States, and she comes to Spaceland, see? And she's super happy to be there, and she studies all kinds of things. This is how she comes to the United States. Welcome to the United States. Right now, nobody is welcome to travel anywhere, but in our imagination, we can do that. So Spaceland is beautiful. It is a big city, she says. And then she meets this guy here. So I talk to an astroman in English until I run out of breath. And finally, I stop hablando and wait for astroman to say something back to me. Instead, he gives me another big abrazo. No, we can't have hugs right now either. And then he turns to hug someone else. And this is the picture. So we are doing our hugs here by just hugging ourselves with the elbow or online. So let's get started. First thing that we have to do to make a really, really good immigrant is we have to figure out how to draw a face. Let's move this really, really close so that you can see it, and hopefully you can. The first thing that I want to point out, you can choose what gender your portrait will be. I mean, your person will be. And I know this is a tricky thing to say nowadays, but let's for our purposes say, if it is a person like this or like this, most people would say this looks more masculine, right? And most people would say this looks more feminine. And that is how we define our person today. So if it is this kind of person with more flowy, curvy lines, then we can tell by the neck. But here's the interesting thing. The face itself, or the structure of the face, is absolutely gender neutral. So when we are painting today, and you know this from cartoons, all we are concerned about, are we having almond eyes? No, almond eyes would be like something like this. So do we have almond eyes? Or do we have round eyes? So like these really super round eyes. I, by the way, have round eyes. What I want to point out to you, and again, you know this from cartoons, the distance between the eyes is the same distance or the same width as the eye itself. Notice this. So this is the same distance. So here, the same thing. If your eye is a rounder shape, then there's a smaller distance between the eyes. And it looks like that. So when we are making a triangle, our triangle is probably equally sided, something like that. I don't even know. But in proportion, this would be this person's nose. And if we have a person like this, we have like this triangle again, and we have the person's nose. Here, let's pretend this is where the nose will be, right? So here's our little nose. Most likely this person would look really funny if it has such a small nose. So we're making the nose much, much bigger. And here is going to be the mouth, and here is going to be the mouth. And guess what? When I put the face in, look at that shape. And what I want to point out to you, the shape of your face, or the shape of your ethnic group, or the shape of, how your family looks like, completely depends on the shape of your eyes. If your eyes are round eyes or almond shaped eyes, or if you have a heart-shaped face or an oval shape, totally makes the difference in your face itself. It would be like a rather funny thing if you had unproportional eyes or unproportional ears or something like that. And they are all proportional. They're all proportional how you look. So here we go. Now we are getting started with our face, and I hope you can see me okay. So first thing I start with, I want to say, I start with the top of my head. I want to not go further than this, and I want to not go further down like this. See, here's the end of my paper, because I think I want to have my person have a neck or shoulders. And I'm going to choose one of those really, really fancy pencils, and they have a 6B on the back. And the reason why I do that is I want you to be able to see it. So, but if you can, you're fine with a yellow pencil, just like that. So there will be a lot of tutorials that you can watch for how to do this perfect face and proportional and everything. But what I want you to do for now, just kind of put in the 2 banana shapes for the top part of your eye, and just really keep in mind that the distance between that is the same. So the same width of the eye is also the distance between the eyes. And now you will, in your time when you try this, you have to stop the video because it's going to take a lot of erasing. I know that for a fact. So, but when you are done, when you're comfortable with where you have it, I want you to see this. We have an eyelid on it. And your eyelids, some of you have eyelids that are very, very thick and some have smaller eyelids. And then the other thing that I want to point out, like each of us has a pupil. So there's like this darker black black line in the middle. And then you know this also from cartoons that we always leave like this little point white, and that makes it look that our eyes are glary, and they are glary because they are moist. If they were not moist, we wouldn't even be able to open our eyes without us hurting. So here we go, we have your eyes, and if you want to, you can smudge. I'm really good at smudging, so like a lot of times I smudge things, and then if I don't like it, I just can put my little highlight back in. But now the second thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to make a line here on the bottom, and you have seen this before. There is, when you look in the mirror or you touch it, you have, say you have a little bug in your eye, you just kind of get it out here. There's this like tiny little spot. And imagine your eye is an eyeball. If you want to touch it like this, touch your eye, you really see how the eye is protected. And just for illustration purposes, do this for me. Like you can open your eyes and hold your eye like that, and it is surrounded by bone, so that when somebody hits it or something hits it, it is absolutely protected. So here we go. Here's the second eye. And now I'm gonna go super fast, and maybe we can do this even in a time lapse, but I'm gonna show you really quickly how I make this a person. So here's my eyebrow. My nose will be something like this. This is like that triangle that I was talking about earlier. Nostril, and then upper lip, the cupid bow is coming here, shadow underneath, and circles, smudgy, and chin. So here, this is already starting to look like a little bit like a face. I'm gonna correct myself on this little line here, but look at this, mouth, and cheekbone, and face. And remember that we talked about this, that we wanted to do our face gender neutral. So how can you say that? How is this like a gender neutral? Doesn't it look like a girl? All right, let's make this more like a boy, okay? So it's not so much the nose or the mouth or anything else, but like a lot of times the guys have bigger, bushier eyebrows, that's for sure. And the girls will have it like a little bit curvy, or maybe they style it that way. So now eyelashes, like of course the guys have beautiful eyelashes as well, but they're not really mascaring, or a lot of people don't. Some people do, but they want to have it look luscious and thick. Hair is good looking. But the girls, a lot of times, they want to have it like one individual eyelash after another. It's really, really pretty this way. So then here we go. Let's say the guys look. He's grinning a little bit. Let's have him grin a little bit. And the girl too, they're not too serious. They're like happy. And we give them a little bit of a smiley face. So here we go. Now we are giving our person a nose a little more distinctly. And for the man, we choose that he could have a little bit like a more squarish jaw, maybe like a little bit more squarish bone structure. For the girl, we can just say, you know, like maybe this girl has a little bit of a softer look, not as squarish. And you might say, oh wow, this is so cliche, but I'm just inspiring you to do it however you wish it to be. Like you design your own person here. We don't have a person, we are imagining an immigrant. So whoever this person is, however she looks like, whatever earrings she wears or not, jewelry, whatever folds she has, whatever age she has, or he has, whatever ear shape, the ear shape is showing here at the side. And then for our guys, or for like a masculine looking people, we just wanted to, you know, make the neck fairly straight and give him a collar. And for the girls, we have like, I don't know, if we can have or wear a blouse as well. You know, so she's wearing this blouse, and here's our button that connects the two. And we give her, because I have so many beautiful girls here in my classes, I'm just going to give them these gorgeous hairdos, right? So we're just going to have super duper nice hair. And we give it hair. And so here's her hair. And our guys, what kind of hairdo should we have? Maybe like a little shorter with a little longer hair on the top here. And all right, like, let's see, is this looking like a guy already? Like, not really. We have to make it a little bit, give him some shades maybe. A one day beard, sort of a little bit darker here maybe. So then for the mouth, we're just filling it in. And we are making sure that our mouth will be darker on the top part, because when the light hits it, so, and then the bottom part is, so girls, of course, like the lipstick part. Well, guys are not too fond of that. Like, again, we are not entering the gender debate here. We're just kind of saying you are designing your own person, whatever your female male features, whatever you want it to be, or if you want to have both, that's your option. You are the artist. So, but I'm just saying like that there is different qualities that you can emphasize, because again the face is pretty gender neutral. So here we go. And then put a little bit of hair on it. And you could give the person a little bit like an older look too. You can just say this person already, it's actually your dad. Maybe you want it to be your dad. And he's already in his 40s. He has some folds, not too old looking, but hey, it's starting. Looks a little older. And here we have this female where we want to feature a couple of other things. All right, here we go. That's your immigrant. And again, this is the boy. This is the girl. And then you do whatever you like to do in your background. Trees, a horizon line, maybe buildings. Maybe there's buildings. Maybe there's cars. Maybe this is during a wartime and you want to give the person a hat. So if you want to give that person a hat, maybe they have a visor on, right? Maybe this is a certain uniform that your grandmother or grandfather wore during a certain time. So here we go. There's a hat for you. All right, so this was our first time together. I hope you liked it, and I hope you come up with fantastic drawings. What I'm hoping from you to see then some picture that you could post underneath, and we would be so excited to see what you're doing and how your immigrants are coming up. And don't forget to write something about them, because they are coming from different places. So we want to hear their stories and how did they get there and what did they do. So I see you next time. And again, we are with Arts for the Schools. See you later.